They said gray paved the way, changed the rain, released the pain, least you sane, getting paid, trend setting, brighter days, doper rap, tighter sets, high and deadly, I'm a fighter jet, dirty Kane.
What's really good, ladies and gentlemen? It's the OG Boricua Dandada, a.k.a. the man of a million nicknames. Listen, as you see to the top left right now is the big homie AB. You already know who on the top right is, which I don't know why the hell he's showing a Tennessee Titans thing. They have nothing to do with Saturday. He's got some bourbon. I can tell by the coloration of it. I am really feeling that. Welcome back, AB, who's been MIA for super long.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's that smoke wagon. A lot of y'all don't know about that smoke wagon. Talk to him, AB.
What's up, everybody? I have been MIA. Got a little bit of just coordination issues. You know, we got 3 people, all adults. Everybody's got families. Everybody's got jobs. I'm an hour behind these guys, so it starts getting a little bit late. I'll be honest, you know. So I've been letting them do their thing. Luckily, today we're recording on a Saturday. I got nothing going on except for my wife. Poor baby. She is down with the flu, but she's still hanging in there. We'll get over it. Ain't nothing we haven't seen before. But I'm back. Hopefully as long as I can be.
I just want to say thank you to all the popcorn companies that put AB's face on their products since he's been missing. We found them, Papa Rockabaco and everybody else, Cracker Barrel. Thank you for putting his face on the missing popcorn bags.
Did y'all get me on Cracker Jack
we
too?
finally got AB's back, brother. Yes.
Yes.
Cracker Jack, baby.
You know what? See, now, there's got to be a punishment, right? Like, there's got to be a punishment for this. I've been thinking. I had a long trip home, and I was like, yo, we got to drive a little faster. I got to get on the podcast because I'm making everybody late, right? But then I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to host today. AB's going to have to host. So, welcome to Taking Over. Sweetie, what's going on? What's going on?
Well, she can't hear y'all.
Oh,
because I got my AirPods on.
I'm over here calling AB Sweetie. It's looking crazy right now.
Oh no! She's
you know
taking
what?
over.
The greatest introduction in podcast history. Let them know. What's your nickname, Sweetie?
Come here, baby. Come here. You can't hear. Yeah. What is your nickname? What do we call you? No. Sopapilla. She's our little Sopapilla here. Yeah, say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
All right. Get out. Let me have my headphone back. No, I need it.
You take over.
No,
you got one, over. Dad. You got one, Dad. You can hear me one. You don't need two. You need one.
AB,
you put it on the goodie ear. Put it in the goodie ear.
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah, I only have one.
So how are you starting this one off? I'm co-pilot today.
All right, so then you're going to be co-pilot. I will go off with this. I knew something was up, so I had to drink. I really had to drink. All right, gentlemen, so let's talk about the restart, the end of the break, whatever we want to call it, right? Okay, last week I know you guys went over the Battle Riot 4. It was a really, really good Battle Riot. I have to give them that. There wasn't a lot of waiting around. They did some good things to lead into some storylines. They got the right people out at the right time. Although I would have loved for somebody to just punch Enzo in the face for dancing around the outside. That was last week. All right. Anyways, let's get to this week. We are going to go over the MLW show from this week, and the main event from that one was Enzo and Real1 and one Juan whatever, and Fatu. It was a decent show. I have to say that there were some ups and some downs in this show. There were some things going on that I really, really enjoyed, and there were some things that I said, oh, you know what, I can deal with that, especially looking at the state of wrestling as a whole. Okay. So, what were your thoughts? And we can start at the top, right? Ares, Lintz, our boy, the young goat, and La Única Estrella, just what I was calling him. All right, we got our boy Muffins back also. So let's start off with that first four-way match. Who wants to go first? You want to go first?
Go ahead,
Mr.
Muffins. I'm taking the co-pilot seat, man. I'm just chilling today.
Damn right, baby. Hey, I go first, man. You know I love me those big intergalactic card collation.
So now I got to ask you, and my fault. I feel like I'm taking AB's job right now. Who do you think shined the most? Because I have a specific person that I was surprised, even though we know his work, on how well he looked in this. So with you guys, is who do you? I don't really care who the winner is, who the losers are, who gets pinned, who don't get pinned. But to me, there was one guy who just looked better than everybody else. Everybody did their thing. Everybody looked great, but one stuck out, and I'm curious who you guys, at the end of that match, sat back and said, okay, well, this guy stole the match.
If I may, I would say it was Lince. Yeah. He looked like he was doing. Yeah. He looked like he had the ring generalship going on in there. There wasn't a lot of obviously fake coordinated moves. It looked like when there were things that could have gotten away from the MLW, the real MLW that we're used to. He's like, we are not going to go and do super double coordinated moves. They stopped that double Hurricane Rata that the young goat was going to do, that Myron was going to do. They stopped it, and they buckle bombed him, both guys, because realistically, that is what would happen, right? If two people were going to get Hurricane Rata, they would probably say, nah. I mean, unless you're miniature and the other dude is like 300 pounds, there's no way that you're just going to not be able to stop that. So yeah, they stopped it. They buckle bombed him, and that was great. I like him saying this. I have a new respect for him. I will say that. How about you, Muffins? Who did you think was the standout star from this match?
When the whole thing started, I was always rooting for Myron Reed.
Yep.
Because I've seen him so many times last year that I already know what to expect from him. I've never seen that Estrella till now. Lince Dorado has been, WWE guy for so long. After a while, you get bored of the same thing that happens up there. So, but he was the one that actually surprised me the most was Lince Dorado in the match. So I was thinking it was going to be Myron Reed like the whole time, just because I'm used to seeing him do every time.
I went into it exactly like you. Is we know what Myron Reed has done, and we have seen Myron Reed multiple times in triple threats or four ways. So I was like, all right, Myron Reed's going to be the guy. Like you said, watching Lince for so long, in WWE, especially, I guess, pre-Triple H, guys were getting watered down. It was like copy and paste. So I was like, whatever, I hope we don't get that. Exactly what AB said when both guys were like, we're not going to get hit. That to me felt so dope because we don't see that kind of realistic side a lot of times in wrestling. And I was like, yo, I really appreciated that little aspect of that match meant so much to me because I was like, that it felt organic. It felt like exactly like what he said. Nah, you're not going to go at me. You're not going to, I'm not going to let you get hit. I'm not going to get hit. We're going to thug this guy. So I completely was blown away by Lince. I thought Lince showed a veteranship that is only going to make guys like Myron Reed even better. You know what I mean? Like steel sharpens steel. I was with it.
So I got to ask you about that. Who wins if it's a double submission?
Yeah.
But anyways, what were your thoughts on that?
I was kind of worried about that. Like, because let's just say a guy taps out, right? Like, and the ref picks one guy, but then how come it's not the other guy? Like, and then you get into that corny controversy of, well, how come this wasn't for him and how come that wasn't for this person? But like I said, it's like you said, and the more we've been watching wrestling, the three of us for a lot, like long time. So we pick things up, we see things, we pick it apart, we talk about it however it is. But the fact that this felt like there was a legit ring general or ring savvy veteran that took the reins and was like, we got this. Like, don't even worry about it. And it's one thing at a young age that he's not in this match. And I'm gonna say it because I was standing there while, and I'm not trying to make no smoking gun or pull the rabbit out the hat and tell a trick. But I watched Ikuro Kwon kind of explain a match, and while I'm watching it, I was like, "Whoa, okay, I'm seeing something from what I was listening to." And then watching it again and watching how safe both guys were and how communication was like before, and you never seen it in the ring, but the way it went over, it was like a math problem. Like, they understood the situation, they broke it down, and let's take care of this. I felt Lindsay must have been like, yo, this is what we're gonna do. Everybody bought in. They allowed him, because I mean, listen, they're all grown men too. So they allowed him to dictate a match. And to me, it was like you guys said, it was a dope match.
There was one other portion of the match that I thought, okay, this one may look indie-rific. And this is when Aris and Lindsay go back and forth with the chest slaps. It was sort of in the middle of the match. It didn't go too long with the chest slaps, and then Lindsay puts Ares in that modified clover leaf, and it looked like it took a little bit long to get him in that clover leaf, but it still didn't look absurd, even when Estrella comes in and he gets that. I guess it was Ares that gave him the DDT, or was it Lindsay that gave him the DDT? Either way, what were your thoughts on that? Did you think that it was going to get away from them, that they were going to start doing a bunch of indies coordination, or did it look good?
No, I mean, there's a lot of things that I tried to go into the match, and I tried not to put too much thought into it, because like Chef said, if you start seeing something specific way and you like, oh, this should have gone this way or whatever, then I'll be sitting there trying to break and nitpick every single thing inside the match. So there's things that you kind of see it and you kind of go like, maybe not there, maybe a little longer, maybe a little less. But if I go into the match with that mentality, bro, I'm gonna destroy my brain just nitpicking everything that I see. And I'm gonna turn into one of those guys out there in the basement of their moms, just like critiquing everything that, oh my god, that was horrible. Like last night they had a spot in the 6-way women's match where it was Raquel Gonzalez standing by the announcer's table. She puts the table right here and the steps, so she has one of the other chicks up, and you see Liv Morgan supposed to jump from this side towards her and then catch her and fall to the table back. Oh, it didn't go that way at all. She flew, she caught her, but she slipped, and they both fell down next to the table. And I'm like, oh, it looked horrible, but if I nitpick that, I'm gonna go, oh, that they just destroy that. And they sold it like they got, all of them got hurt, even though nothing happened. But if I go expecting that to happen and work out every single match, then I'm gonna be waiting for a long time to watch the best match ever that's never gonna happen. So
I get you. Yeah, and you're right. So
then on Twitter, everybody making fun of it or whatever. I said, well, dude, that's nearly impossible to pull something like that off. You can practice it in your head a bunch of times, talk about it, choreographer, everything, but when it's supposed to happen, it doesn't happen. There's not much you can do. You just gotta chuck it up and just keep going. You can't just stop in the middle of the match. Fuck, we're gonna do it again. So.
So do you feel, or do we feel, that this match really put Myron over as a heel? Given that most of the match was Lindsay, La Estrella, and Ares. A minimum amount of that match was Myron. So, do you think it puts him over? Do you think that that's some heel business there, or hey, I'm going to jump in right at the end to kick somebody in the head and steal this away, or do you think that
I was kind of surprised he was even in the match, considering that where he's moving towards Davey Richards' feud with Bomaye. So to me, he kind of didn't feel that he was part of the match at all. So like he shouldn't be part of it. But
he did look a lot bigger?
Yeah,
I have to say that he's huge compared to those guys.
Yeah, if he looks toward looking into the heel, then yes, it did his job. But I just didn't see he needed to be in that match. It would have worked better as a 3-way instead of a 4-way to me.
Well,
I got you.
At the same time, I mean, I think MLW played it smart. I agree with you. I don't think he had to be in there. But if you think about it, I don't know much about La Estrella. I don't know. So I don't know how long he's been wrestling. I don't know much about him. And then you have Lindsay, who's new, who's now there. And then you have Arez, who Arez is very young, super talented young brother, but, he is young. So you throw Myron Reed in there, who, yeah, he's young, but we've been seeing Myron Reed for a few years. You kind of throw a vet with somebody with a long term, and then, he's done a lot of work with Arez as well. So I think that the familiarity of the situation is why they threw him in there, if that makes sense.
The thing is, La Estrella will be coming back in January for the January show down in Philly. So
is he officially in for January?
I saw an announcement that he was in.
Yeah,
okay. I didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't see it. So that's dope. Yeah, that's dope.
So it's good that they're using that partnership with Dragon Gate. First with La Estrella, and then when they brought in the two guys from Sea Brats, being our boy
Skywalker and SB Kento.
SB Kento, yeah. So now they're bringing him back next in January. So at least they're definitely working on the partnership and bringing guys in. So hopefully he comes in and they'll bring somebody else from the Sea Press or somebody new. I'm still waiting for BB Hulk to come in. Because if he does, I'll be there, period. Like, I ain't missing that one.
That's your dude.
That's like that's my dude from Dragon Gate from like 15 years ago when Dragon Gate was coming out. So that's my dude right there.
Hey, we're like 20 minutes into this. It may be a little bit less because we're going to have to cut some of that beginning mess out. But I want to tell, hey, make sure you follow everybody and us on Twitter and Instagram. It's at Urban Wrestle NW. It is scrolling down below. Mine is at ABeansUWN. Boricua Dondada, which he is also known as the man of a million nicknames. Instead of meeting máscaras, he's meeting nicknames. We gotta come up with that in Spanish. But he is also the chef, Boricua _Dondada. We also have our boy B Dalla at Hooded Knight 890. That dude does a lot of recap shows, and that dude is religiously doing recap shows.
Yeah.
He recaps MLW, he recaps AEW, I think Impact
WWE,
Wrestling,
Impact Wrestling.
all of the WWE. Yeah, I don't even know if he does Dark, AEW Dark, but that dude might.
Yeah.
Also, Muffins Martinez. I mean, you can hit him up directly at the Urban Wrestle NW. He's the manager of that. So if you want to get with him or ask us anything, do it there. But before we go on to the next topic, I want to say thank you for listening. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment. And Mr. Thomas's pants were absurdly tight. Holy moly, I did not know if a man's pants could get any damn tighter. Like his hips, the hip to waist ratio, it was weird. It was just like his hips were like here, but his waist was out here, and that dude is fit. I don't know how he's doing it, Mr. Thomas. Maybe we'll get him to come on the show.
Yo, dude, like, and let me just start with pause. For anybody who understands what pause is, because I'm gonna say some shit, right? Like, this Thomas comes out, and I'm like, is he wearing leggings or something? Like, God,
those things were gonna pop.
Like,
we're gonna pop.
you see the MLW featherweights wear looser shit than Mr. Thomas, right? So I was like, God, this dude is ODing. Like, there's tight pants, and then there's like blood, stopping circulation. Those were the kind of pants, and I was like, yo, I can't. I don't know what's going on. Yo, as a matter of fact, yo, Alex Kane, man, don't you be letting people come out like that because those pants are suspect, bro. Pause.
The duplex assassin. Duplex. Sorry. Sorry, Alex. Hey, you know what? It must be the bourbon. It must be the smoke wagon. This is why you should not let me host, because then I get to go wherever I want.
Go wherever you want.
Let's talk about a couple of other things that happened. So after the match, the Bomaye Fight Club Bomaye came out, which is why we're talking about Myron, Mr. Thomas Tight Pants, and the Duplex Assassin. There was a few other promos and some recaps that happened. I think that they recapped the show from the week before. But the next match was Mini Abismo Negro and KC Navarro. Frank as the referee, and I have to mention Mr. Frank because he has a following. And hey, Frank, get a haircut. Let's talk about Mini Abismo Negro and KC Navarro. What did you guys think about that match?
I have a high expectations for KC Navarro because I know his work. And if you let him go, KC's he'll murder it, right? Like, it felt like he was held back a little in this match. I'm a big fan of Mini Abismo Negro. I like his work. The more I see him, the more I become a fan. I do like his work. I'm not a fan of a lot of people. I do like who he is. I like his gimmick. I like how he comes out. But this kind of felt like, and I don't know. It felt like they were handcuffed. I mean, it felt like they were both handcuffed, and they weren't allowed to. Like, it felt like every time they were about to hit, something slowed it down. They just didn't let them rock. Like, you can only do this. Don't get the crowd going crazy. Right before you do that, chill out. Like, I don't know. That was my beef with it, because every time I felt like the guys were going to that, they were about to hit that next gear, something happened and it pulled away from it, and then they had to restart, and then it was over.
Yeah, so one thing that we don't do is we don't do spoilers, right? So this show, it was probably filmed quite a bit ago, probably before the break. I think this show was the
June.
battle. Oh, okay, yeah, June.
Yeah, July.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
July.
So since then, KC Navarro has moved on from MLW. He gave thanks to Court and everything, right? But I would have loved to have seen the match list to see where it was, and if it was a match list that was maybe, if this was sort of one of the beginning matches. And you're right, hey, let's not waste the crowd's momentum and anxiousness in the beginning. Let's let some other things happen.
But you know what, though? They dropped the ball with Ikuro Kwon versus Ken Broadway. I remember, because I don't know, AB, if you were on by that time when me and Muffins were talking about it. It was like high octane, and these guys were letting it rip, right? Like, you got like 2-3 minutes of just boom, 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 and then out of nowhere, it was like a regular finish and the fight was over, and you're like, well, wait a minute, like, this match was crazy for 2 to 3 minutes, and then it just ended with something basic, and you were like, well, wait, why? Know your crowd. You know what I mean? Like, and then your referee also needs to understand your crowd as well. And this is where I'm going to give a lot of credit to my boy, Ref Rodney. If he starts noticing a crowd is going away from the match, he'll let them know you're losing the match. Either do something or get this done with. Or he'll tell them, yo, guys, they're eating it up. Let's go back into your bag, figure this out, because listen to them. A real referee, where a lot of people don't understand, doesn't have to jump around like this chick in AEW and try to steal the spotlight. A referee's job is to keep you safe, understand the crowd, and also be a ring general as well, and also know how to tell a story without putting the spotlight on themselves. This referee, I felt, also dropped the ball on this match, because I don't know. I was like, yo, I don't get it. This match made no sense to me.
Before we go over to you, I do want to say, I'm not sure where we're going to cut this, but hey, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram down below at Urban Wrestle NW. That's Sensor Network. Mine is A Beans UWN. Boricua Dondada, Boricua underscore Dondada is our chef down there, the man of a million nicknames. And anytime you need to hit us up, if you hit us up on Instagram, on Twitter, Muffins Martinez manages that, so you're going to be able to get a direct reply from one of them. Somebody else that we have in our show is B Dala at Hooded Night 890. That dude does a lot of recap shows for us and recap shows for the Urban Wrestling Network. We're trying to incorporate some people and some guests. Linktree does have the latest shows. It has our Instagram, it has a Twitter link, it has my Twitter link, it has Chef's Twitter link, and like I mentioned, Urban Wrestling Network is directly Muffins Martinez, which we just lost, unfortunately. I'll give my thoughts on Mini Abismo Negro and Casey Navarro. Casey Navarro, I really liked the angle that they were working with him and Real1 Enzo Amore. Enzo. Yeah, I mean, I really like the angle that they were working with him before the whole break. Casey has since moved on. It was a little bit odd, I believe, because in my own opinion, it was a little bit odd because, Abismo Negro is a mini, and Casey Navarro, although he doesn't have a huge amount of height on him, I mean, he's not a mini. So I don't know if they were trying to put over Abismo Negro because Casey Navarro was leaving, or if they were just, like you mentioned, it did seem like a funny match because the ending was, the whole match was just, it was like, it was like a roller coaster that never happened.
That's a perfect way of explaining it.
You get up on the top of that roller coaster and you're about to say, yeah, and you're like, oh, this didn't happen. But it was a decent match. I've got to say that I don't really like matches myself when the ref is bigger than the wrestlers. So maybe they should have a different ref in there. But I do have to say that the best part of that match was when it spilled over to the outside, and you had one of my front row friends, Ashley Ann. Just they get shots of her all the time because she's there in the front row. She's there at MLW front rows. I think it's in Philadelphia. She's at Impact, usually on front rows. Very nice person. I've talked to her a few times on Twitter, just the general Twitter chat. She is at Ashley Ann 87. And it's a double Y, Ashley Ann 87. So, and she actually expressed some interest in coming on the show. So that's cool. Have a fan on. She's like I mentioned, a very nice lady. She's a supporter of the show. She is a supporter of all things MLW, and I actually think that she was out at an AEW show recently and saw a picture of her and my favorite tag team, FTR. I know it's not everybody's favorite, everybody's cup of tea there, but whatever. Anyways, so let's move on with let's get back to the MLW stuff. After the Abismo Negro and the Casey Navarro match, we had Old Mansa coming back, and Old Mansa must have been he must have gotten his community college degree, because he is not the old Mansa that I am used to with old uncle coming around. His comments were a little bit reeled in.
Yeah.
They told him, "Hey, don't be as masters as we're used to." But he laid in a little bit after a while. Maybe it was the interviewer. Nice lady. She's taking over the interview spots for our girl. What is her name? Yeah. And unfortunately, I think
Sam Laterna.
Okay. Maybe we'll have. Hey, look, I'll reach out to Manser, and I'll reach out to this. What'd you say her name was?
Sam Laterna.
Okay, and we'll reach out to them and see if maybe we can have them on the show. I personally would love old Manser on the show. That dude That
I
dude
think
just does it for me in MLW.
he's a wild one. I think he'd be so fun to talk to.
I don't know how much you guys want to do a whole recap, because I know our boy B Dollar at Hood at Night 890 on Twitter does it. But let's just go with the whole list, because unfortunately our boy Muffins hasn't come back. So one of the things that I heard is that Real1 was a good promo. I think he's a decent promo. I think he's better than most of the AEW mediocrity that we see. I don't think that he is better than some of that golden era wrestlers and some of the raw era wrestlers, but he called Fatu a poor man's Rikishi. But in my opinion, Real1, I think he's a poor man's Randy Savage.
Wow.
But anyways,
Wow.
So what are your thoughts on the promo itself? We won't get into Enzo until the end when we talk. Real1 and versus Fatu. But what are your thoughts on that promo?
I mean, I liked it, to be honest. But Enzo or Real1, I guess Real1 will just have to go with that. He's won me over. Like I always knew he could talk. That's what you know him in WWE for. You knew that he could talk, and that's that, right? Because remember, there was a lot of people who he was very unsafe to wrestle with, and he even hurt himself at one of the events. So you were kind of like, damn, what Enzo are we getting? Enzo has taken his to another level, I feel. I'm definitely someone who's an Enzo supporter. I think Enzo he kind of reminds me of like a hybrid, like mafia guy, like how you doing, like Italian, right? Like a straight up old school Brooklyn Italian, but add in like a rapper. You know what I mean?
He's got a shtick. I know people love it. I know people like it. I'm still trying to wrap my head around if I really want to like him. But he seems to be a mainstay there at MLW. He's been there a little bit longer than some of the other guys that come in, and we see even Scarlett, right, which we're going to talk about next. Her and Carrion came in. They did a couple of shows, and then that was it. But Enzo or Real1 or And1 or whatever, he's been there for.
But the hard part is I like Real1. Real1 I'm a fan of. But Jacob Fatu is my guy. Like, I'm never going to go against Contra Unit. So it's kind of like, what do I take from this? Because I know Jacob Fatu better smash this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have Jacob Fatu lose to this guy. It makes no sense, because it's just what it is. Real1 hasn't earned nothing yet. He's no one yet.
I mean, that is what the buildup is, right? Because we say we want some buildup. We say we want a little bit of a storyline. We want heels to be heels. We want faces to be faces. And I guess that would have that helps, because if you get under my skin there as a heel, then it's good. It's good. Yep. So he got under my skin, and I like that. Like, why isn't somebody just punching the out of that guy? Anyways,
and so did you say how you doing?
No, I didn't. But how you doing? Hey, I'll just mention Twitter and Instagram at Urban Wrestle NW. That stands for Urban Wrestling Network. Make sure you subscribe. Click the little bell over on the side, just so that we can know that you're there, and comment here. Hey, look, if you don't have Twitter, you don't have Instagram, you say, look, I'll just comment here. Comment here. We'll talk to you. We talk to everybody. All opinions are valid. That doesn't mean you're right. It's just a valid opinion. I mean, everybody is entitled to their opinion. Anyways, so let's move on. We've lost our muffin. Oh no, the Muffin Man! Do you know the Muffin Man? I don't know him because he doesn't have internet. Close to him. So the next match was a Scarlett Bordeaux's. I guess her first match in MLW. We mentioned earlier that Scarlett and Carrion were at MLW. I think it was for at least 2 shows, right? They were there for Battle Riot, and then they were there for this show. Yep. I think this one was in Philly. So
that's New York.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it was New York. So let's talk about that. The Scarlett's match. What do you think? You think that she was fairly dominating for an XWWE wrestler? Did she do her damn thing?
In WWE, she never had a match.
Ah, that's right. She was just Carrion's valet, right?
Yep. So the last time she did anything, I think, was, I don't even know if she wrestled in Impact. Because I remember she was doing the Smoke show. I think she definitely wrestled in Impact, but I don't remember it. But that was a long time ago. I mean, look, it sucks because you had an expectation for her because she hasn't done anything in so long. You're like, all right, wait till, let's see something. I think somebody obviously said, you know what, let's take a chance on her. Obviously, you're going with Cross. That's the big U1 Cross there. And she's kind of the cherry on top. And you gave her an opportunity. I thought she looked good. But at the same time, did she need to look good if they were in and out for a cup of tea? Like, at that point, you put over the other girl just because. And thank you for coming and, enjoy signing back with WWE.
Yeah, the other girl happened to be Clara Carreras.
Yeah.
I don't know who she is. I didn't get a chance to research her really. Unfortunately, I ended up watching the MLW show last night. So, and by that point, I was a little bit tipsy. So, although I enjoyed seeing Scarlett, you can't go wrong seeing Scarlett, right? But I guess if we want to extend this a little bit, what I will say, and you touched on it a little bit, you talked about really quickly bringing somebody in like Scarlett and then saying, okay, well, how do you put her over, or do you put her over when you have Carrie in there? Or should you put her over when you have Carrie in there? Was it a 1-2 punch? Now, I have to say that I really loved the way, and again, it's we were just talking here. I really love the way that in Battle Riot they put Carrion over until the end. And you want to talk about a ring generalship. I mean, the dude was there almost the whole time. The announcers said, "Hey, this dude has been in here. He is the Iron Man of this Battle Riot," and he was. They put the dude over and allowed him then to say, "I'm gonna throw guys out. I'm gonna power press them over my head. I'm gonna throw these dudes out. I'm gonna maybe look like I'm going over the rope and then come back in." But at the end, the two guys that MLW are going to be using a little bit more, and two guys that it looks like they're going to be being able to build around Fatu and one, FKA Enzo. They got him out, and then there was a little ruckus in the entryway, which allowed a little bit of, hey, what's going on over here? Is, why was Fatu out? Was he not out? His foot touched his foot touched the stair. Should he have been counted out? Should he not have been counted out? What's going to end up happening with him going against Hammerstone? Should it have been FKA Enzo? Should it have been Fatu? But I think that those what ifs, those scenarios were left there, and they were left there in a good way. They weren't left there as, oh gosh, exactly. This just didn't make any sense. It made sense, and it brought a little bit of what if to your mind with all of those other scenarios, and it put Carrion over without him saying, "You put me over completely, and then the next week I'm not going to be here anyways." Right?
Yeah. So but that's kind of the hard part. Like, this is why I always tell people, if I have my core guys, I don't care who you are, I can't put you over. Because if you're just going to come in and then we're not working with you for a year, 2, 3 after that, why would I put you over any of my guys? I understand who you are, but I mean, even look at a guy like Parker Bordeaux. I like Parker Bordeaux. Unfortunately, you had him in July, early July, like July, I think 7th. And then this show don't happen until damn near November. And then all of a sudden in like August or late July, he's in AEW. So it kind of takes away from that moment. Now he did crush Taya, like whatever, but he still comes in. Fans knew who he was. They were hyped behind him. People got real excited. But then he's in, and now just like that. Cross, what are we going to see? 1 or 2 matches most, and then he's out. So you can't really put him over anybody. And if you do, now you just put him over guys that are still in your company that have no reason to have been put over. Like, I don't know.
No, I got you. Well, yeah, I know. Let's move on from that, and we had to extend that segment really because the Scarlett match was okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing that happened in that show was Taya comes out and shows how shiny her belt is because it's been put away for so long. It's not like she's been displaying it, right? We've talked about that multiple times. That belt was super, super shiny. I don't know. I can't put that timeline together as when from the time she won it, from the time that show was filmed. But holy moly! I mean, you would think that there'd be a little bit of something on there. It was absurdly.
That went into a box. That went into a box, and it cleaned right before she brought it out again because that belt looked like it was never even shown yet. Nope.
Yeah, it was a little sad there, man. Yeah, it was a little sad there. But whatever. We spoke about that multiple times.
Yep.
Well, if you want to know what we're talking about, if you're a new person to our show, check out subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a listen. Also, leave us comments. But in one of our shows, maybe about a month ago, we talked about Taya and how she disrespects the MLW Featherweight Championship. By the way, if you want to give your opinions to this, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Urban Wrestle NW. That's the Urban Wrestling Network. Mine is AB at ABeams UWN. Chef, the man of a million nicknames, is at Boricua_Dondada, and you can see all of that scrolling below. By the way, our man who is MIA, Muffins Martinez, if you hit us up on the at Urban Wrestle Network, either on the Instagram or the Twitter, thank you. Both of those go straight to him. So he responds. We all try to respond usually at night. We're pretty active. Also, B Dalla at Hooded Night 890. That's a man that does a lot of the recap shows. You can catch those. Also. We should be putting those up on our Twitter and reposting those soon, so you can see them. Dude does recaps of everything. Not only does he do recaps of AEW and MLW, but he also does Impact. I'm gonna guess at some point he'll probably do ROH when that gets its own show, and then of course the WWE shows that nobody watches. Nobody watches those. So let's move on. I think we've we've moved on to the next and last match, the main event, which was I'm going to say it this way. It was actually Real1, FKA Enzo versus Fatu, not the other way around. Because Fatu won. He won Battle Riot. He is the mainstay there at MLW. He is the previous longest reigning MLW Heavyweight Championship. Everybody knows him, respects him. So let's talk about that, right?
You know what?
What you
I
think
gotta
about
ask
that match?
you because I feel a certain way. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to answer because then I might sound a little biased to a specific whatever. But I'm gonna leave it on you. Now, when you watch the match, you know what Jacob Fatu gives you. So you're like, okay. Here's what I keep trying to explain to people is when we seen Enzo, Real1, and one, whatever anybody wants to call him, when you seen him against Matt Cross, it looked really clean, and you were saying, wow, is that Real One doing his thing and progressing, or was that Matt Cross being the veteran he was and guiding that match? Then we seen him versus Casey, looked very good again. So when he's going against someone like Jacob Fatu, now this is where I try to tell fans, yeah, Jacob Fatu is the man, but also you got to see what Real One does. Does Real One look really good against him? Or does Jacob Fatu just outshine him, and then you go, well, that's why he's not really the champ of anywhere else? So what's your take on Real One versus Jacob Fatu?
All right, you are going to hate this,
Oh,
but I lost interest in this match. I loved the build up to it. I loved the promo that Enzo gave, Real One gave. It looked like he was over in DDP Yoga Studios doing that, unfortunately, on his phone. You know, thought DDP would have some sort of studio for him. But to be honest, I lost a little bit of interest in that match. I'm not going to say quick, but I was looking down at my phone a few times, and I was just like, man, what is going on? Like, I had to go back and say, okay, force myself to watch this.
wow.
And that's not an indictment against Fatu. It's more against, it was more against Real One. Someone on the internet said, I don't understand, and I'll put his Twitter handle later. I don't understand why no one gets Real One / Enzo. The dude has a top-notch promo. And I was like, well, he does have a top-notch promo. But at the end of the day, you still have to watch him wrestle.
Yeah.
And there are times that he is a little bit over his head. He's like the Dollar General brand being sold at the dirt road flea markets. I didn't really, I mean, he's not mainstay wrestling. He might be mid-card mania. You know, he's those old black and white label generics.
So you
Just
can't see
maybe a step up, man. I didn't
you
like
can't
him.
see him as being a great middleweight champion.
No,
Really?
I can't. I really can't. And I see that they're probably going to set him up for that, given that Davey is so technical and he's putting that, he's putting that championship up against everybody and taking it to other promotions. Yeah, other promotions. I think that they're going to put this belt back on Fatu, the heavyweight championship. Yeah, for sure they're going to put it back on Fatu. But I can't see him, dude. I can't see him. I don't see Myron carrying that belt much longer because I think that at some point they have to elevate him. As loyal as he's been to the company and as good as he's gotten, even his promos have gotten, despite Mr. Thomas's tight pants. But I don't see Enzo being, you know what? Okay, I'll reconsider it. Give me one more show with Real One in there. Maybe if we take that name and do something different with it, I would seriously consider it. Given the promo, he is the guy that you beat. He's the guy that you beat in a stipulation match to then move up to talk and start fighting with Davey and start wrestling against the Fatus, the Davey Boy Smith Juniors. So he's a gatekeeper.
All right. Right.
And maybe he'll help people with their promos. But past that, I don't know.
Okay, so here goes my thing. Now, I've been watching David Richards for years, right? At the Impact Zone, and now on Pro Wrestling TV, Bean Sports, YouTube, and everything else, MLW. outside of how long do you stay interested with Davey Richards' respect for the industry thing? It's cool. I like his approach. You know, I love wrestling. I love doing this for the fans. Everything is proper. I get that. I've seen Davey Richards as a heel. It's not that interesting, right?
Not.
Like, he's not a heel. And then how far can you stay interested in the guy who always says the same shit?
I know where you're going with this. A heel should be champion. I knew where you were going with it. A heel should be champion. I agree with you, because you look at Hammerstone and you're like,
bored.
I love Hammerstone.
I'm a Hammerstone fan, but I'm bored.
The intensity he brings to the ring is something else, right? But maybe he shouldn't have had the championship, or maybe they should have done something. We talked about the storyline there with Holiday, right, and how they sort of dropped the ball, and there could have been some cool thing about how Hammerstone works his way back up. They dropped the ball there. Anyways, going back, the thing with Davey Richards, though, is that he is accepted in every promotion that he goes to. And that is the thing about him. He is accepted as a professional wrestler and as a big-time wrestler no matter where he goes. So you keep the belt on him because you know that going to some random indie wrestling promotion in the Midwest, that people are going to go there and say, oh, wow, Davey Richards is here. Oh, and he's a champion of MLW. Who's MLW? I think I've heard of them. Oh, they're on BN Network. Oh, they're on Pro Wrestling TV for free. Check them out. Let's start checking them out. That is one of the reasons that you keep that belt on him. I don't know that you keep him on it. You keep him on that belt and in that role forever. You have to roll him off of there. But let's talk about this. Since you got me on, who would you put that open weight championship on if it's not Davey?
So middleweight, I think Davey has the open weight. Oh no, Davey just won the open weight against Alex Kane.
Yes.
All right. So I would probably have EJ because it looks like they're making him a heel. I'd probably have EJ pin him because EJ's been hot like fire since he's been in MLW. So I probably have EJ go there. If he's a heel, I like it more. If he's a good guy, cool, whatever. But I'm all about the heels. So regardless of what, do I think EJ is the perfect guy to take that next step because of how MLW has treated him, how he's looked, how he's dominated, blah, blah, blah. EJ takes that spot, no question. I definitely have Fatu, not because I'm just a Jacob Fatu fan. I think Fatu is a better world champion than Hammerstone because you can get behind Fatu. You can understand him. You can feel him. He talks better. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a specialness to Jacob Fatu. He's like the 5-tool player. He can do it all. Where Hammerstone, like you said, he comes out, he's electric. In his matches, the guy can go with anybody. But as soon as you need him to be the world champion in the face and he got to talk and he got to be in the limelight, the light goes off, right? You kind of check out from him. So I say Jacob Fatu. And then I would have Enzo or...
How about middleweight champion? How about Old Manser?
But if we get the old
I don't know
Manser, if we get old Manser where he had that feud with he's an AEW MJF, like he was killing it. If we get that,
or Shammy Callahan.
Oh hell no! Anybody but Sammy.
No. I am saying during the feud with Shammy Callahan.
Yes.
Yeah. I loved that Manser. Yeah, that old Manser. I remember sending home pics of the show that they did in Dallas. And I know I always recap those shows, but that's because that's the closest to me. And I know that I have this huge feeling that MLW isn't going to be coming to Texas for a while, unfortunately. Although I want to say San Antonio does have this new Techport arena that is hosting some RCW stuff, or River City Wrestling. I want to say that they've done RCW, and they may have also done Thunder Rosa's promotion.
Oh, Mission Pro.
Yeah, Mission Pro. So I really want to say that there's an opportunity there for them to come into San Antonio. San Antonio's got some, not only do we got some nice restaurants, but we've got some decent hotels at great prices. So in case anybody wants to ever come to San Antonio, hit me up, right? I'll give you the spots. But I really hope that they come back. Anyways, getting back to that Dallas show, I remember sending pictures of that Dallas show to my wife and saying, this dude is awesome. And she was like, oh my God, this is crazy. It was a bunkhouse match that he did against, oh my gosh. It wasn't, Sammy had already left because of the whole, he destroyed it. But it was a guy that was in AEW, and they got rid of him because there was some talk about him and harassment. He was sort of like, had that dark mysteriousness element to him. Anyways, I forgot the dude's name, but I really like that match, and I really like Mansoor. I love Mansoor. I think I love Mansoor, and I've heard that Jim Cornette actually loves that dude, and he tells him there's no need for you to be blading and doing all these junk indie-rific matches. You're actually a good wrestler. Model yourself after Eddie over in AEW, and you could probably be bigger than him. But for a while there, Mansoor was doing all those junk matches and doing all those, death matches. Yeah. And I've seen some of those things, and some of them are cool, and some of them are.
It's just not for me. Like I'm not a fan of it.
It's not for me either, man. I did Muffins have to go to sleep? It's only 5:30 my time.
The guy's 50 years old, bro. You got to take it easy on him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he's an old man.
So, do we got anything else to talk about? Because me and you were really just sitting here shooting the shiz.
I mean, I'm over here supposed to be.
I'm over here drinking some Smoke Wagon Uncut the Younger straight bourbon whiskey from Nevada H&C Distilling Co. They're in Las Vegas. So,
what's the proof?
Anyways, let's see. It's actually written, not printed, written down here. It's 57.19% alcohol. So you got to multiply that by 2. It's going to be 114. Yeah. So 114, and that's what I've been sipping on. Love it.
Talking about it, ladies and gentlemen. Listen up.
Yeah.
You know what? And it's great because the wife just got me my peanut butter whiskey I'm a super fan of. So next time we got to do this, I think me and you we'll pregame it a little bit, be a little more fun, let the old man host, and we'll just talk some shit.
Let us know what you like. Let us know what you didn't like about our show. We'll comment back and beat you into dust if you don't like us. No, really, man. Like, listen, subscribe. Everything's scrolling below. We've talked about it multiple times. We probably went over and over and over on it. But you guys, everyone out there, have a great evening. Thanks for punishing me with hosting. As you can see, if anybody watches these shows, my cheeks have gotten redder and redder and redder and redder from all the bourbon that I've been drinking.
So you know what,
anyways,
ladies and gentlemen, for myself, AB, who's finally back. What would you call him? Jigglypuff.
The Jigglypuff.
For the Jigglypuff.
We'll call him Jiggly Muff.
For Jiggly Muffins, a.k.a. the Jiggle Stripper. We're all out of here. Deuces.
Yo. They said grade paved the way, chased the rain, released the pain. Least you sane, getting paid, trend setting, brighter days, doper rap, tighter sets, high in deli, I'm a fighter jet, German Kane.